Good morning, crafty friends and fans of the Tilted Brick. I'm coming to you today to show you a few things that I've been playing with. So we have a new product in the shop that is Hidden Creek laser cuts. And just like the other ones I've showed you, I had taken them all out of the package and I made some clusters. And so I'm just going to use these today. And the background paper is... doesn't matter what it is because you can do whatever you want for your background. I believe mine is Arden Creative vintage paper, which I think we're getting into the shop too, but I know for sure right now in the shop we have the Hidden Creek laser cuts. So here's some of the clusters I've made. And then here's one that's in progress. I'm not finished yet. And I still have all these bits left over. So we're just going to work on one side of this book today. This is a, I know we have these in the shop. I don't remember what it's called. I'll have to turn it over, but I have stuff laid out on it right now, so I'm not going to do that. Another thing that we're going to be getting into the shop is this PET tape for the Hidden Creek. You can see it's got some color to it. It's really hard. I'm sorry. It's really hard to show that because of the shine and then the light that we have, but it'll come together once we're done. And then we're going to be getting in also the Hidden Creek rub-ons. So this is what I'm going to use today. You get 4 sheets, 2 patterns. So this is what I'm going to work on today. In addition, I just have a couple of my favorite BRD stencils so that we can add some background interest. At some point I might need to get up and get some stamps, but this is what we're going to start with. I've got my Distress Oxide inks out, and I am using the Been There Lindy's Magicals that are coming into the shop. So this one is BRD Twilight Vines. And since I had some leaves on the laser cuts, I was just going to add some of this. So we'll start with some Rustic Wilderness Distress Oxide. And I'm just going to add little bits here and there just so we can add some interest to this page before we get started. Before we add our rub-ons, before we add a cluster. I'm just adding a little bit because I just want to have some fun little bits that show up and also to cover our page. So it's not just a blank piece here. One thing I do want to point out about your stencils is turn them over so that you have things going both directions. You don't always have to have it one way. Turn it over and get something done that way. So if we were using paste or whatever, then I'd have to clean this off really quickly. But since I'm just using ink, I will take this into the sink and rinse it off in a little while. But I just wanted to add some little bits of this vine to kind of go with the green leaves on my laser cuts. Okay, I think I like that. It seems a little, let me see if I turn the light to a different, can you see better? That looks better right there. So now you can see that a little bit better. I still have some light on it, but not quite as bright. And so we'll see if that helps. Then I'm going to take, again, you guys know this one is my BRD Harlequin, Rustic Harlequin, from the Queen of Hearts BRD collection. And I'm just in love with this stencil because it has little bits of script in there, little hidden hearts. It's kind of distressed, and I just love it. So we're going to use it again. Hope you don't get tired of me using this stencil because it is one of my favorites. I'm just adding just a little bit here and there. Nothing too fancy. And another spot down here. There we go. See right there, I got the little heart. Hard to see, and right there's the heart. So yeah, let's do a little up in this corner. Where's my heart? There's my heart. I want to get that really good in there. Okay. Yeah. Love it. Love, love, love. Okay. So now that I have a little bit of extra ink on here too, I am going to do a quick spray and then stamp it onto my background. Use my paper towel. That. And then over here, the leftover water and ink that's on there. I just really like the little bit of distressed interest that that adds. And then I have this other section that still has ink on it. I'll spray. And we'll go up over here. And press that in. Rub, rub, rub. Okay. And lift up. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so I did get some paint. I mean, I got some of these Lindy's Magicals out, so I'm going to try to paint on my stencil and then stamp that on. I think when I was doing it yesterday, I just didn't have quite enough liquid, not enough water. So I'm going to try for more water today to see if we can get a better image, and we're just going to add it here. Now I'm wondering also if part of it was because I used the micro glaze and that resists. But we'll see. So we're just trying to get some color on here. Okay. Now, let's flip it over and see what we got. Bit there. I might switch over to the leaf too and see how that one does, because that has a little bit bigger opening, so there might be more space. Yeah, there we go. That's turning out better. That's turning out better. We're going to do that one more time. Up here in the corner. So all I'm doing is adding the Lindy's Magicals that I added water to, and just kind of using the paintbrush to add the color to the top of the stencil. Okay, and then turning the stencil over and stamping it in place. And then that gives us the negative of the image that we stenciled, which just adds a little bit of a different look, a little bit more interest. So there we go. Okay. Now I am going to use rub-ons that I showed you. I tried to use colors that I thought matched the rub-ons. Like this really big image right here, and I like this because it kind of matches the yellows. So we're just going to take that, get my scissors out, and we're just going to cut these out. Okay, do that. And I might use all three of these images here. We'll see. Let's see where we like it. So that's going to be, I think, pretty right there. So press that down, and I need to get my burnishing tool, but I'm going to press that down first, and I'm going to audition where the next piece goes. No yellows down here, so we'll add this one here. And then I have this little green piece. I might as well use it, right? And we'll see. I'll do this one up here. Okay, now you just need a burnishing tool, popsicle stick, whatever you have that you can burnish with. I have multiple ones, but the one that's right at hand right now is just a bone folder. So we're just gonna rub this on. I'm gonna rub it and then gently lift up a corner to see if you're sticking. And if you're not sticking, then press it back down and start rubbing. And you can see if you can see that right there, where it is turning like a lighter gray. As you're doing that, then you can start seeing where the rub-on is sticking. And you're not going to have to keep going. Also, what I would do is I would just go slow when you're pulling off this backing paper. If you go slow enough, you're not going to tear or ruin your rub-on. Although if you're looking for a distressed image, then that part doesn't matter so much. But if you just go slow, you can see where it's not sticking and you're able to come back, lay it back down exactly in the right spot, and then keep rubbing. I think the little bit of issue that I'm having right now is because I have an image on the other side of this and it's a little bumpy. I think I had texture paste on the page behind this one. So I gotta be a little extra in order to get my image to be rubbed on. But see, I'm going slowly and I'm able to see like where this text didn't stick. So we're just come back, rub a little more, rub, rub, rub. There's this little stencil, this particular rub-on has a lot of little text details too. And I want to capture those. I don't want to waste any part of my rub-on because it's so pretty and all the details that are in there. Okay. Towards the end, it gets really easy because everything just starts like sticking on its own almost. And you're able to just gently pull up and it'll leave the rest of it behind. See, I'm only missing a few items here on this big one. This one's going to take a little bit longer just because it is so large. Gentle, gentle. Missed a couple of these little dots. That's okay. Okay. And the top of that flower. There we go. Now I'll do the leaves. Sorry about that. That is my dog trying to get in here. I tried to lock him out because he likes to look out the window and bark at everyone. I didn't want any barking. There we go. Look at that. That's nice. And the last piece here, and then we can finish. Okay. All right. Okay. And there we go. And if ever you have a piece that just sticks up after it comes off the paper, you can just smooth it down with your fingers and you're good to go. So now I've added just a little bit more texture to this background. I also have in my stash some text rub-ons. So I'm just going to take some of these. And you can use anything that you want. I just want these for just a little bit more interest. You can also use a stamp, which I forgot to bring a stamp to the table with me. And so since this is already here, I'm going to use this. I cut this into, I think, thirds so that we have just a little more texture to our piece here. And one more. Okay, there we go. So again, we're just rubbing on. Rub, rub. Popsicle stick, something with a fine point. Bone folder. Whatever you have that you can burnish with. You can see how quickly this one is going. And last piece. The nice thing about this black is you can kind of see easily what I'm talking about, how it turns gray. So it'll turn gray to do that. All right, so there's that. I think this is looking really pretty right now, actually. So now I just want to add maybe 1 or 2 of my clusters that I created. That one, I think it needs a little bit behind it, you know, so that you can see it better, so it doesn't just blend in. Also, I'm going to want to add some color to the edges of this, but right now we're just auditioning pieces. We can also use this PET tape to add some background, so I'll go ahead and take that, and you can just see this is going to pull off so easily. And I am going to cut it. And the reason I'm going to cut it is so that I can have one on this end at the edge. And then one over here on the edge. And then there are, I don't know how many different images there are in here, but there are several. We'll take a look here in a second to see. But it is quite a long tape full. And this is clear, so you're going to still be able to see the rub-ons and the stenciling that we did underneath it. And then let's do one more. And we'll do this one here at the bottom. Okay, so looking at this, we have, let's go and see, we have the rabbit with the butterfly. Then we have a butterfly with the flowers. And then we have the mushroom. So we have 3 different images, and then you can see how big this tape is. This is going to be a lot of projects you're able to complete with this. So let me put this aside. And then we'll decide which piece we want to use here. I'll move things out of the way. I did get some paper out in case I wanted to put some paper in the background. I'm still auditioning pieces. So I have this from the Vintage Makers, and I would like how dark that is, and that would add some interest to the page. So let's see if we tear what we can get here, so that we have a little bit of delineation from the background. And I need to tear it right about here. Nope. I want to tear it the other way because I want you to see the torn edge. I want you to see the color of the torn edge. Okay. And now let's see if we like that better. See, that kind of stands out a little bit more when we have the black edges to it. So I will go ahead and cut this really quick off screen, because you don't need to see me cutting paper, do you? It won't take too long. Okay, let's see if we got that about right. And like so. And then we'll just line this up here. And then at some other point, I do have some words that I could add to it. Let's see if they are easy for me to get to right now. So like, your like shines. I think I had one that said, here it is. It's the little things. So I like that. So we're just going to add a little bit of glue or tape to this to adhere it. If you can hear the crying of the puppy because he wants to be in here. Now, if I had the door open, he would not want to be in here because they're silly. Okay, so there's that. Add a little bit more. And then this goes right here. Like that. And then we'll add just a little bit of foam tape to the sentiment so that it pops up a little bit. I think I like it right there. All right, and then the last thing that I'm going to do is just to add a little bit of distressing color on the edges of the page. I'm trying to make this a little bit shorter, so I'm going to go with my vintage photo distress. And just get the edges here. And please excuse if the camera shakes a little bit. It's hard to not have the camera shake when you're ink blending, right? So we're just gonna get these edges. I might come back with just a smidge darker ink too, because I mean, I like this vintage photo, but I'm thinking ground espresso, as dark as it is, that I might like that a little bit better. But let's get this finished first and see what we want to do. Like, just darken the edges just a smidge. Okay, I think I will grab ground espresso because it is just a little bit darker. And put that right there, you can see what color I'm using. And we're just going to go along the edge here. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Okay, I like that. You know me though, I'm going to like some splatters or something. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my water bottle and I'm going to put some water in my hand. Then I'm going to add it. And I really love right here where we had done the stencil with the paint on it. So we've got some nice drops. And now I'm just going to pick up that water so we can see the water drops. And I want to do a little bit more. So right here. And up in this corner. Okay, and take my paper towel. There we go. Look at that. Those droplets are coming through. Okay, and since I still have some of this paint over here, I'm also going to use the paint to do some splatters. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of the green. And there we go, that's better. Then I'll pick up a little bit of the pearl color. That will just give us some shimmer and shine And of course, all of these Lindy's Magicals in this packet are the shimmer ones. So once they dry, there's going to be a nice shine. And then we'll take a little bit of the Amber Waves Maze. Just give it a little bit more. And then one final one. I'm going to take the brick by brick, even though there's not really brick color in here, but it might bring out the browns a little bit. And I do like that. Okay. Now we'll get our dryer out, and then I will zoom in so that you can see everything, and we'll be done. So let's dry some of these spots real quick. I'm going to move stuff out of the way so that as soon as we're done drying, I will be able to show you up close what we've done. Okay. Come on. We're getting there. We're getting there slowly but surely. I did do a lot of splatters, but I want to show you what they look like when they're dry. Wish I had a like dryer holder, you know, so I wouldn't have to have my hand on it the whole time. First world problems, right? So again, as a reminder, today I used the Hidden Creek laser cuts. I believe it's Arden Creative Hidden Creek laser cuts. The Lindy's Magicals Been There collection, which has some colors that really go nicely with this. I also used the Hidden Creek rub-ons and PET tape, all of which will be in the store, in addition to my BRD stencils that you see me reach for all the time. Okay, so here I think we've got all of our splatters dry, so let me pick up the book and kind of zoom in for you. See how nice those splatters just add that visual interest. And then we have these books in the store. They are the Ranger, I think it's Ranger Delusions. It's just the art journal. So there are several different sizes. And this is the one I chose to use today. So we have small real estate, a little bit larger real estate, but I really like how this turned out. So let me know what you think in the comments. Also, it has been suggested that maybe we need a clusters class. So let me know if you would like that, and we can get that one of those on the calendar. Thanks, and have a great day, everyone.